Hey guys, hey guys. Welcome to another episode of Hello World with your girl Joy from Be the Difference. Guys, I hope you're having a beautiful day, a beautiful evening, morning, or night, or wherever you're tuning in from. I am super excited because I have accomplished what I said I was going to do. I'm streaming on 4 different platforms, and I think that's something I want to talk about this evening. So, shout outs to everybody. If I can't catch you in the chat, just know that I will see it in the replay. Yes. So, shout outs to everybody that's here. Thank you for coming. If you can, please double tap, like, share, subscribe, whatever it is to help make these lives get out more to people. It'd be greatly appreciated, and I thank you guys. So, anyway, my name is Joy, for those who do not know, and the name of the company is Be the Difference Clothing. But it is a company that aims to inspire through written messages on t shirts, onesies, hoodies, you name it. We try to inspire you from head to toe. And the idea, just to give a brief synopsis, the idea came from years ago. At the time, I had been hearing a couple of things. One, people were saying that the world is such a bad place. Then, two, it piggybacked because when I was shopping around in the mall, I would see clothing that had all of these negative connotations, i.e., AKA 47s. And then when I mirrored what I was seeing by actually looking at the news, I would see, oh snap, the AK 47s match with all of the gun violence that they're talking about or maybe promoting. Because subliminally and subconsciously, when we see something that is often put in our faces so much, we either become that thing or decide that that's something we want to do. So I took that same notion and said, you know what? I am no longer going to be the one that's complaining about things that cannot be done, and I'm going to go against all odds and prove it to be different. So 10 years down the road, which is today, actually a little bit more than 10 years, but down the road, I decided to say, you know what? If we put something positive on there, on clothing, which people are always looking at, then possibly that could start changing the minds of so many. So that is, in a brief synopsis, what Be the Difference is all about, what we stand for. We have a little slogan. It's not just clothing; it's a way of life. And I really am thankful that this company was started because it makes me hold myself accountable to the things that I say, and two, to make me behave, because sometimes I'm pretty sure if there was no Be the Difference, I certainly would be a different person than I am today. So that is pretty much what the Be the Difference is all about. And we've branched off into so many different areas. I've created a ringtone for my company. I've created and printed a number of books. And I've also, what else have I done? I've created designs, and I've created socks, a little bit of everything. But I can't say that it's always been about me actually doing everything, because along the line, I've had a lot of inspiration from different people, things that have gone in my life, and I've turned those things into something that can be beautiful. And imagine all of the things that we go through that can be turned into something beautiful. All of the tragedies that we go through, all of the heartaches, all of the triumphs, all of the different scenarios in our lives can turn into something beautiful. And when we're going through, especially when we're going through the bad times, I don't believe that we're all saying, oh my goodness, this is going to turn into something beautiful where people can, but I guarantee you, had I not been through some of the difficulties of life, none of you would be seeing me right now. And every time that I have been put up against the wall with a no, or it can't be done, that just turned it up even more and said, absolutely, it will be done. Even if it's not perfect. The setup that I have right now, y'all, it's not perfect, but I set out and said, this will be done. I made it my duty to make sure it was done, and it is. And it can only get better. It can only get better when we all start teaming up together. And, I have a production team and all of those good things. Soon enough, sure enough, maybe it might happen, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't, it doesn't matter. I did what I said I was going to do. And my whole desire is that I can encourage you to do what it is that you say you're going to do. Stick to your guns, stick to your word, because your word is your bond. And without holding yourself accountable to the things that you spew, what's the purpose? So today we're going to talk about why it's so important for us to be very selective in the things that we say, especially to ourselves first, because a lot of times we project our fears. And if we don't turn our fears into triumphs, then, my friends, we will continuously be in the same cycle of regret, forget, and doubt, fear, rejection, all of those things that we always incorporate in our lives. Like, even from elementary school, from birth, we've always incorporated doubt, fear, rejection as the pinnacle to life. Because things can't possibly be good unless you go through something bad. Why does it have to always be like that? I do not believe that we always have to go through something so dramatic and so traumatic where things will end up being good. Why can't we start off by saying, you know what? I woke up this morning, I said I'm going to be the best that I can be, and I am. Nothing can stop me, nothing will stop me, and nothing did stop me. Why can't we start off with that? So let's go to the root of it all. When did it all start where we started having that defeat attitude? At what point in your life, I'd like for all of us to think about, at what point in our lives did we allow defeat to become the number one engine that ran our lives? When? And when you can pinpoint that exact moment, because we can, if we dig deep enough, if we focus deep enough, if we allow God, our maker, creator, or whoever we believe in, to seep into our hearts and our minds and our lives, we will identify when it first started and at what point it became a thing. Now, for me, I believe it started as young as in preschool, when a couple of things happened. Something as simple as, a teacher saying that I lied about something. Man, that made me feel so bad. Telling me that I lied, and then my parents thought that the teacher was right and that I lied, and that became a big thing. And I'm talking about preschool because we do remember things from preschool. Whether you want to agree or believe it or not, sit back, relax, and think about it, and you will know that yes, in preschool there were points in life that stood out the most, and it always for me was those times when people said that I was not telling the truth when I really was. Even at that tender age, I don't know how old I was then, but at that tender age, I knew that I always had to prove myself to be truth. And I think that's probably why I'm so fervently always adamant about when somebody says that I did something that I know I did not do, why I go gusto and go for the guns. Because we've identified at preschool, a teacher told me that I was lying about something, told my parents then said that my teacher said that I was a liar, so therefore I was a liar when I know I wasn't a liar. So that's what helped create the true factor of joy. Was it a bad thing? Yes. But at the end of the day, it helped build something inside of me to say that you cannot tell me when I'm lying, when I know I'm telling the truth. And maybe fight even more harder when people put me in that position of whether they believe me or not. So that's just one example from me going way back when. So I say that to say that there's always a point in life where you can identify when something started turning a little to the left, when you had to turn into that fight or flight. So when you identify where it started, now it's time to do something different. You feel me? And when you're ready to do something different, expect a lot of things to change. Your circle will change. What you eat may change. The things that you believed may change. Are you ready for some types of changes in your life? That's the question. And I challenge every single last one of us to always be ready, be prepared. Because change is inevitable. Whether you want to be on the right side or not, it's inevitable. Whether you want to accept it or not, it's inevitable. Whether you want to continue to live life mundane or not is inevitable. So, I think that we all should do things different. So, that brings me to the point of when your word is your bond. You see how I used the example of when I was in preschool, how it became very evident in my life that my word being my bond was super important, was one of the most important things in the world. At that time, that was more valuable than money because I didn't know what the value of money was. I was too young. I wasn't spending it. But if we start putting our words to be our bonds for real, how much more can we get out of life? Huh? So I'm not challenging you. I'm telling you, when you say you're going to do something, do it. I was scared to death when I said, oh my goodness, I want to be able to have all of these platforms. I want to go live on all of these platforms. I was so nervous and afraid to even do something I had been doing for so long. But I said, my word is my bond. I said I'm going to do it. I figured it out. I sat down and I figured it out. And I thank the Lord above that I was able to have the time to sit down and be able to figure out how to configure everything. And it was a little challenge. But I kept my word. And you know what? By me keeping my own word, it made me feel even more amazing. It just makes looking at all of these screens like blow my mind, amazed. So that is the evidence of what being and keeping your word and making it your bond looks like. You become more happy, you become more fulfilled, and you accomplish things and you become ready to do more. So if you haven't been keeping your word first with yourself and not with others, what you gonna do? When are you gonna start becoming men and women of valor and doing exactly what you need to do and say and be? When? If you cannot keep your word, no one else is going to take you serious. And at that, speaking of that, how many people are being taken serious? How many people do you think take you seriously? How many people do you think believe that what you say is actually going to be evident and true? How many people? How many times have you said you're going to do something, even in little things? How many times have you said you're going to do something and you didn't do it? How many times? Start holding yourself accountable to the words that come out of your mouth. Because like they say, we're casting spells every day. Every letter and syllable that exudes from our mouth becomes a spell, whether it be good, bad, ugly. What are you doing? What are you casting? And let me tell you one thing. The minute that people no longer trust the validity of the things that come out of your mouth, you become very irrelevant very quickly. Maybe you might not realize it, but to the people that see the reflection of you, they know it to be true, that you're not someone that they can trust, not someone that they can give things to, especially big responsibilities. So, are you keeping your word? Is it important to you? Because I guarantee you, if anyone were to tell me something that they're going to do and they don't do it, trust and believe that gets calculated in my brain. And every time you continuously say something and you don't do it, you become more of a mist that I no longer need in my life. So imagine if that's how I feel, how many other people may feel the same way? How many positions can you miss because you cannot keep your word? Thank you. How many positions can you miss because you cannot keep your word? How many friendships? How many relationships? How much of life can you mess up because you cannot keep your word? It's so simple, but yet we can't get it. Do you now see how important it is to keep your word? And how your word is your bond? It's basically the key to unleashing all of your potential and possibly getting someplace in life. Maybe you lie a lot. I don't know. But at some point in time, those lies will start turning against you. And the people that you've lied to have already told the people that you encounter or will potentially meet that you're nothing but a liar and that your word is not your bond. So there's no validity in you. So there's no point being around you. And then if you continuously have the same things that cycle in your life, like, oh my goodness, why do all of these bad things keep happening? Why can't I ever catapult in life? Why doesn't my ship come in? Why doesn't it sail? Why? Because you've been lying for way too long. And the only person that you've lied to the most and the worst is yourself. To the point where you don't even know who you are. You don't even believe the words that are coming out of your mouth. Oh my goodness. If you can't even believe the words that are coming out of your mouth and don't even recognize that the fact of the matter is that there are words coming out of your mouth that are not true, how can we start the healing? How can you start mending? How can you start becoming different? I guess that's when those traumatic moments have to happen. But even in traumatic moments, will you catch it? Oh my goodness. I know it may sound crazy. It makes me worry a lot, because just unpacking the fact that there are people out here in this beautiful world that have been lying to themselves for so long. Like, is it ever going to be a possibility for them to actually realize that they've not been telling the truth? But you know, little old me, I'm always going to be, it's possible. Because impossibilities happen every day. And I believe the impossible can happen. But what will it take? How many dramatic moments does it have to take for you to start focusing on you and focusing on healing the you that has been lying to you for so long? What will it take? I do know one thing. I believe if we all, and I say this very often, if we all just take a couple of moments and look at ourselves in the mirror, see if you even can look at yourself. And I mean, like, put your eyes inside that mirror and see if you can stand the reflection. Because if you cannot stand that reflection, that's the beginning of your healing. Because then all of the whys and the hows, all of those things start to flow through. And that, my friend, my friends, will be the beginning of how many of us stop lying and start seeking out truth. And then it will be so much easier to decipher all of the lies that are being spewed in other areas of life, especially outwardly. We'll catch it in politics, we'll catch it in social media, we'll catch it in individuals, and moreover, we'll continuously catch it in ourselves. So are you ready? That's what I want to know. How many of us are ready to stop lying to ourselves? And how many of us are ready to start seeking out the truth and feeling what truth really means? How many people understand what truth really means? How does that really feel? How many of us really feel that? Because I guarantee you, we have been so ugly for so long. And I'm not saying physically ugly, but I mean emotionally ugly and possibly spiritually ugly for so long that we don't even know what truth is. But I do know one thing's for sure. When you start knowing truth, you'll start detaching from things that are feeding bad things, feeding just lies. Because when you stop lying, you'll start to detest lying. You'll start to detest the lies that come to you. And the things that lie to you the most, you'll start moving away from the quickest. Trust me, I believe it. I really, truly do believe it. The people that I hang around with now, currently, in the flesh, is very small, very small. But the people that I hang out with, even though they're small, they're mighty in absolutely mighty in the third eye, because they've gone ahead and did the work for themselves. And not to say that it's one time and done. This work is continuous. The work that we have to do is daily, momently, minutely, hourly, sometimes. But in order to continue to move forward, we have to leave a lot behind. To start fresh. It's like when you get a cut, y'all remember when I burnt my finger off, right? I have a screw as a fingerprint right now, but over time, that scar will come off and the true fingerprints will come back. So as my skin regenerates, so can your belief system. So can your eating habits. So can how you perceive the world. And so can your purpose. Sounds like a lot of work, yes. I've been doing this work for 10 years, but I only got on my journey 4 years ago. For real, for real. And I will say, between the time that I stopped Hello World, which was about 2 years ago, from the time that I stopped Hello World and now, yeah, I've been winging a little bit. But thankfully I have the tools and I know what I'm supposed to do when I start to stray too far. I understand the assignment. But I can't allow the lies to come in. It just won't happen. There's just certain things that once you overcome, it's just like you just can't go back. You just can't go back. And I won't. It'd be easy to go back, but we already know what it feels like when things ain't right. When lies have been told to you, don't feel good. It doesn't sit right. It doesn't manifest anything. It just doesn't interpret anything good. So just do the work. That's all I can say is just do the work. Because in the midst of doing that work, the journey becomes better. You understand why things have to happen in your life. The way they did, not necessarily always you're going to agree with it, because I don't. But then you see why it had to happen that way. All of the heartaches, the rejections, the backstabbing, all of those things had to happen in my life for some of the best works to happen. And all of the great things, the triumphs and the happy moments had to happen in order for me to create some of my best works. So I accept everything that has happened in my life. Do I agree with it? No. Could I have felt like some things could have been avoided? Absolutely. But if it didn't happen the way it did happen, I wouldn't be here today. Maybe I would be here today, but I wouldn't be as WHOLE as I am now. And I'm pretty sure I can fill in a little bit more of the WHOLE for areas of my life. But for the most part, I've got a chance to touch what truth is. I've got a chance to feel how truth feels. I've gotten a chance to experience and show others what truth can look like if you follow it, if you try it, if you believe it, and if you try to do the work. And that to me is worth it all. I don't know what the future may hold, and my future starts tomorrow when I wake up. But I am so desire for things to stay just like how it is right now. Because everything is balanced right now. But I know eventually there's going to have to be a test. And when that test comes, am I going to keep my word for different things? Am I going to fall for different things? Am I going to do different things to gain different things? And will I just rely on God, my maker, creator, whoever you believe in, to provide for me? Because at the end of the day, the tests and the trials that we have to go through are simple reminders of, will you go back? Will you stand firm? Or will you keep your word? And is it your bond? I just hope I never have to get tested too much more. Because your girl been enough. And your girl has been through enough, okay? I feel like I've been through too many lifetimes of tests and trials. And I deserve for the remaining parts of whatever is left of my little old existence to continue to be as good as it is at this moment. I've always wanted time freedom, and I got it. I've always wanted to have anything that I asked for, and I pretty much have it. So if you see that is happening for me, why can't it happen for you? You're no worse or greater than me, and I'm no greater or worse than you. We're all human beings. And if I'm on the up and up and you're on the low, I'm going to do my best to try to help you come up. And if it's to come live like this all the time, so be it. If it's to talk about some difficult things, then so be it. If it's to talk about some fun things, then so be it. But I'm keeping my word, which has always been my bond, to see humanity be better than what it was. Because that's all it's been. It's been in the past. Was. It is better. And I know it's better. I feel it's better. I believe it's better. So anybody that may doubt or fear what I think is better, test it for yourself, do the work, and I guarantee you it will become better. I'm not talking theories, I'm talking life experience. And again, maybe I haven't gone through a lot or as much as someone else, but trust me, you couldn't handle some of the things that I had to go through in life. And I certainly can't handle some of the things that you've had to go through in life. But at the end of the day, I respect it. I show empathy towards it. And I want to show you love because I know what it is to go through stuff. And maybe if we all showed each other a little bit more love when people are going through the hardest times of their life, the healing would be a little bit easier. Let me tell y'all, earlier I was at the gym and I heard the most ridiculous commercial. You know what that commercial said? It said, if you're a heroin addict and you've been feeling the urge to stop your heroin addiction, I said, wait a minute. How dare you, first of all, say that? I mean, I've never been an addict, but I really doubt that an addict is going to say to themselves, I really want to stop using right now. I believe there are times when people want to stop doing the things, being addicted to things, but they're going to need a little bit more help than just saying it to themselves. That's my point. And that's why I thought that commercial was so ridiculous. First of all, they probably not even listening to no commercial. They're looking for their next high. And I know we all have been touched by people that have been on drugs. Every single last one of them. Every single last one of us, whether directly, indirectly, or maybe it is us. But I guarantee you, it takes a village for someone to overcome and continuously live free from addiction. Because you may come across somebody that's been an addict for 10 years, 2 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and you expect them at the snap of a finger to be like, oh yeah, I want to be, no. Realistically, that's not going to happen for the majority. It may be a ram in a bush that it does happen with. And then It's even more laughable. And I was also saying at my other live, it was so laughable. I was at a pop-up shop where they were handing out these pens to give to addicts. So if they started to overdose, just to stick themselves. And my thought process was like, for most people who are overdosing, I mean, maybe I'm making this up in my head. I don't see them being in a thought process or mindset like, ooh, let me make sure I have my pen so if I overdose. They're not thinking about overdosing. They're just thinking about getting high, having a good day, and not thinking about what it is that's truly hurting them. I said, instead of us always having a solution to give drugs to drug addicts, why not we give the hardcore, let's see where this all started from. How did it all start? When did it all start? What triggered you? Or was it one of those things where a lot of people who may have been adopted don't realize that they've come into adoption from a family or parents who were already addicts? So even a sip of beer or wine could turn them into a full-fledged addict because it's in their DNA. And if no one tells them that that's where you came from, there you go. So anyway, I jumped off into a tangent, but I just found that to be very ridiculous to think that, or to have a commercial that would say, if you're a heroin addict, you want to stop using. I think that's probably one of the hardest drugs to come off of, because once you get high, you want to stay high. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But if you know of somebody who is an addict, or if you are an addict to some degree, what's hurting you? That's the truth of it. What is hurting you? What happened? What happened to make you want to get away from the reality of life? What happened? Did you purposely do it? Accidentally do it? Or did somebody inject you? What happened? Because once we get to the root of it all, then you can start learning what truth is, what truth feels like, and become part of truth. And live in your truth. Love in your truth. And start to see what your purpose is, what the true purpose is for you. And then you will understand what your word being your bond really truly means. That's just examples that I'm throwing out. Maybe it's extreme. But yes, I have a tender spot for people who are addicts. Because like I said, I've seen it. I've had to experience it, not me personally, but I've had to experience it. I've never seen anybody overdose, thank God. But I had to experience it, and firsthand, that junk ain't cool. And I'm not, just off of the firsthand experiences that I've seen, I don't think that they will ever call a hotline and say, oh my goodness, I'm going to be over this. Because most of the addicts that I've run into have always said, I can stop at any time. I'm going to stop tomorrow. You know, I'm going to do this, that, and the other. But my heart breaks because I know that they're lying to themselves to try to make me believe. You can't make me become a believer of a lie, because I already know what the truth looks like. But it's unfortunate that the addict didn't know what the truth was. And that's why it's important for us to see ourselves in the mirror, to do the work, to recognize what our triggers are and what may have triggered us, and to really start understanding that we want truth, no matter how hard it may hurt. I don't know, y'all. There's a lot of layers, just like onions. The more you peel an onion back, the more it burns. But at some point in time, when you get to the center of that onion, it don't burn no more. So, How many layers do you have to peel back? How many layers are you willing to peel back? How much truth in your life are you willing to have and it exist? How much does your word mean to yourself? Y'all, I don't know. I don't have nothing else to say. But just know that if you think anything that I'm saying is full of crap, that's fine. But if you're not willing to test it for yourself, then is it really a lie? Am I really full of crap? Like I said, I know we all have experienced people who have been under some type of influence. All of us. No one is void of it. But let's always remember that if we finally get to the root and truth of our lives, things will become different. Things will become more fluid and consistent. You'll feel better. Life will become more sweet. Your environment changes, or if your environment doesn't change, you want to change it. And you'll start believing that I am who I say that I am, and I believe who I say that I can become. And your word becomes so valuable to you that others start believing that you are true. So I'm here probably a little bit more consistently than normal. I don't have a schedule for Hello World, y'all. I just show up. But I think I at least want to come on maybe, I don't know, whatever, whenever. But if I do come on, I will be on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Rumble. I will be on all of those platforms, and the information will be saved. So feel free to chime in anytime you feel like. But again, Hello World isn't about always talking about the fluffy things in life. It's to make us all think, especially myself. And my desire is always to help and not hurt. It's always to make us think a little bit different. And it's always, at the end of the day, to give you something to feel empowered. Because guaranteed, when you really know the truth, and then you really know that your word is your bond, that you say you're going to do something, and when you really do what you say, that you are even more, like your chest could be out. You could just feel so much, you'll feel so much greater, like, I don't know, like you'll feel like you'll be proud of yourself. How about that? You'll be so much more proud of yourself just because you know that there's truth in you. Again, I'm just a little example. If you've never lived your life truthfully, you got a little example right here. And if you ever want to look at any other previous Hello Worlds, you can always go to the YouTube, because that's where all of them are housed. But from episode 1062, 1060 and above, it's on every platform. So, yeah. I really appreciate everybody that's been here. Whatever you're going through in this beautiful life, whether it's good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, just know that can always get better. It can always get better. But we just have to put the work in. And it starts with us first. And when you start seeing and feeling the things that you could do for yourself, allow God, your maker, creator, or something higher than you to come in to help transform you even more and to help heal you. Because sometimes the healing won't come from other strangers. It'll come from inside. Like, you'll start to feel better. You'll start to eat better. You'll start to live better. You'll start to, a lot of things that you've done that was tearing you apart, you'll start to let that go away. And you'll let those things drop. Trust me. Believe me. And I think my diet is going to get better after all of these episodes. Because, y'all, I've been eating like a crazy woman. I've been eating a lot of chocolate lately. I know I shouldn't be. And I know I shouldn't be, because I get the results of why I'm supposed to stop eating it. My poor lips start to turn inflamed, and they start turning black and purple. So you know I'm having an allergic reaction to the foods that we get, that I stopped eating. So by always remembering to reflect and do the work for myself, and maybe I won't be going to the things the things that tore me apart inside, internally. Maybe I won't go back to those things, because I'll have my word being my bond and saying, Joy, you really need to stop. You did it so consistently before. Why are you doing this now? What changed? What triggered you? And how are you going to handle those triggers and changes differently, so you're not doing detrimental things to yourself? Because remember, it's about the quality of life, not the quantity. Because I could have 100 years, but have the worst quality of 100 years. And I'd rather have the quality over quantity. I'd rather live till 85 and have the finest days of my life than to 85 or 86 and be sick as a dog, having someone change my diaper. And these are realistic things that some people have to go through. I've seen it. So, are you ready for truth within yourself? Are you ready? I believe you are. I know you are. But just take that first step. And I guarantee you, it will be hard. And there's going to be relapses like myself. But in the long run, it gets easier to jump back on. And that's the most that I could tell you will happen. But yes, I guess I could be here maybe twice a week or so. I don't know. I'd rather just flow with life now. Like, I don't like schedules anymore. That's why it's so difficult for me. And I don't have a goal. Like, my goal when I first initially started Hello World was 1,000 episodes. At first it was 500. Once I hit that 500, I was like, y'all, you think we should do 1,000? And once I was like 1,000, that killed me. That 1,000 really killed. That 1,000 did me in. But that's why I don't do schedules anymore, because that was too much. But I can say that I will come back online, especially when things come to mind to talk about, things that I may see in our world or may experience personally. And like I said, there are stories that I will be telling that I know that we all have gone through in this life, and we all can touch and agree and be like, yeah, that was me at some point in my life. I know we can, and I know we'll be able to find resources and solutions to why we will never go back to the things that hurt us and harmed us. And if we start to slip, we'll remind ourselves that this is not the way that we want to go. I believe that these conversations can do all of us a world of good. So I will come back, because again, I love humanity more. So I would rather sacrifice a little bit of my time if I can put something good into all of our lives, including myself, by just showing up. That's how important it is for me. For real, for real. So, with that being said, please follow me on every single platform at btdllc or Be The Difference Clothing. If you are ever looking for any custom designs or need custom things printed, go to btdllc.com. You guys are beautiful and amazing. There is no mistake about you. Every single thing that you've gone through in your life, whether good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, does not determine the next phases of your life. It does not determine whether you're ever going to become better. It does not determine if you're ever going to be successful. It does not determine if your health can turn for the better. It does not determine whether your mindset can change. It does not determine the capacity of what you can believe. It does not determine anything in your life. Because every little breath we take, we can do better. Every single step we make can grow and glow. So never give up, never quit. Become the best version of yourself. That's it. I just rhymed, see? I had to do it. Ooh. But for real, for real. Because the more you become better, is the more other people become better. Or someone in your life becomes better. Because you did the work, the benefits will be reaped. Because you sowed, seed will grow. Because you sacrificed, someone will be able to live a little better. And if your sacrifice is worthy of someone else living a little bit better, don't you think it's worth it? Wouldn't you want to do it? Keep on growing those seeds. Keep on believing that you can keep your word. Keep on trusting that your word is your bond. Start testing it and proving it to be true. Start believing that your word means everything, more than $1 could be. Because just like how a child hangs off of every single word that we say, so does another adult or human being believe and try to hang off every word that you say. Somebody's breakthrough can come through your truth. Isn't that worth it? So, every little step you take, keep on growing. 'Cause when you glow, you grow. And others will too. Keep on doing the best that you can do. That's all that we have to do. That's all that we're required to do. Everything else will fall into place perfectly and designed perfectly for you. So please never give up, never quit. Because you're too legit to quit. Sorry, I have to do it. Never give up, never quit. Because there's change on the opposite side. Those lies become truth. Those lies fall off and become truth. Let me rephrase that. Those lies fall off and become truth. Those fears no longer become evident. Those rejections and those failures no longer pursue you. Believe it. So, my name is Joy from Be The Difference Clothing. And I am signing out on another episode of Hello